Hi everyone, and welcome to my channel. My name is Amanda and I'm from Amanda Crochets, and in today's tutorial I'm going to show you how to make this pumpkin spice scarf. This scarf measures approximately 7 inches wide by 60 inches long. However, you can always change up the sizing to meet your needs. This is the exact same yarn that I used for my pumpkin spice throw blanket, so I really wanted to make it into a scarf as I love these colors together. It's very fall-like. So let's begin today's tutorial on making the pumpkin spice scarf. So for today's tutorial, you're going to need 1 skein of the Premier Puzzle yarn. This is 328 yards, 300 meters, 7 ounces, or 200 grams, and it is 100% acrylic. And as you can see on the label, you get a pattern, and this is the waffle throw pattern, and it's used in the same exact color here, so you get an idea of what the color looks like worked up. And the color I'm using is called Kickball, and again, it's that very pretty orange and tans and browns and creams colors. And it's classified as a number 5 bulky weight yarn. It is machine wash, cold, tumble dry, and the recommended hook size is a US J10 or 6mm crochet hook. So I really like the puzzle yarn. It's a super soft bulky weight yarn, and it comes in a variety of beautiful colors. So if you did not want to use this fall light color, you can always use some of the other colors that they have in their line. And then for the crochet hook, I'm bumping up my crochet hook 1, so I'm using a K 10.5 or 6.5mm crochet hook. So let's begin today's tutorial. Okay, so for today's tutorial, I'm making my chain 30. You can always make your chain longer if you would like a wider scarf. You just want to make sure the scarf chain is in a multiple of 3, so 3, 6, 9, 12, etc. As long as you have a multiple of 3, you can go ahead and work this pattern. So again, for my scarf, I'm just making a chain of 30. So yarn over your hook and pull through that loop on your hook. That's 1 chain, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Continue until you have a chain of 30 or a multiple of 3. Okay, so once you have your chain of 30 or your multiple of 3, we can go ahead and begin row 1. For row 1, we're going to make 2 double crochets into the 3rd chain from hook. So that loop on your hook does not count. You're going to go ahead and count 3 chains from your hook. So 1, 2, and 3. And in that 3rd chain, you're going to make 2 double crochets. So yarn over your hook, insert your hook into that 3rd chain, yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through the remaining 2. And that is your double crochet. Now the skipped stitches at the beginning is going to count as your first single crochet, so I will show you where to insert your stitch marker just so you are aware of that stitch. Okay, so we're going to make 1 more double crochet into that same chain. So yarn over your hook, insert your hook into that same chain, yarn over, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So you have 2 double crochets. Now it might be a little bit difficult to see, but you're going to find your 2 double crochets, which is right here, and right over on the right hand side you're going to find that loop that connects to your double crochet, and to the right of it, that is where you're going to insert your stitch marker, because that is going to be considered your skip stitches or your first single crochet stitch. So find that loop attached to the top of your first double crochet, move over to the right and insert your stitch marker right into that loop right next to your double crochet. Next, we're going to go ahead and skip 2 chains, and we're going to make 1 single crochet and 2 double crochet all into that next chain. So skip this next chain, skip the chain after that, and finally that next chain, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, 2 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, and that is your single crochet. Go ahead and make 2 double crochets. So yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, 3 loops on your hook, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, and make 1 more double crochet all inside that same chain space. Okay, you're going to repeat this all the way across until you have 3 chains remaining. So I'll show you one more time the repeat. You're going to skip 2 chains, 1 and 2, and in the chain after that you're going to make a single crochet and 2 double crochets. 1 and 2. Repeat that all the way across until you have 3 chains remaining. Okay, so I'm over at the end of row 1 and I have 3 chains remaining. I'm going to go ahead and skip 2 chains, and in the final chain I'm going to make 1 single crochet. So here is what your first row is going to look like. For row 2, we're going to go ahead and chain 2 and turn. For your chain 2, it's going to count as your first single crochet. So real quick before I move forward, if you have trouble with your ends, this is why a stitch marker is going to come into place. So I already showed you where to insert your stitch marker in the beginning of the skip stitches from the beginning of row 1, and at the end of your row you're simply just going to insert your stitch marker into that very last stitch, and then when you move on to the next row you're going to move your stitch marker up. So for row 2 you're going to make chain 2 and turn. Because your chain 2 counts as your first single crochet, you're going to insert your stitch marker into the top of that chain 2, so right here. And then that way when you have your stitch markers at the beginning and end of each row, you will know where your very first and very last stitch are, so that way you can keep track and your work would be nice and straight. So for row 2, to start off, you're going to make 2 double crochets into the very first stitch. So the stitch that's right here, go ahead and make 2 double crochets. 1 and 2. You're going to go ahead and skip 2 stitches and make 1 single crochet and 2 double crochet into the next stitch. So you're going to skip the next 2 stitches. So if you look at the row before, it's going to be your 2 double crochet stitches, and you're going to find that next stitch, which is the single crochet from the previous row, and you're only going to be working into that single crochet. So in that single crochet, you're going to make 1 single crochet and 2 double crochets. And then when you look at your work, you're going to notice that your stitches or your clusters are going to be offsetting one another. So your first row is here and your second row is here. So when you count your rows, you're going to be going on a little bit of a diagonal. So row 1 and then row 2 is right here. You're going to repeat this all the way across. So once again, skip the next 2 stitches, and in the stitch after that make a single crochet and 2 double crochets. Repeat that all the way across until you have 3 stitches remaining, and I will show you how to end row 2. Okay, so I'm over at the end of my row, so I have 3 stitches remaining. I have this stitch right here, the stitch after that, and then the stitch right here. Remember, if you have trouble seeing that, make sure you have that stitch marked. And you're just going to insert your hook into that very last stitch, or that stitch that you marked. And then you're going to go ahead and make one single crochet. Move your stitch marker up so you have that stitch marked, and then you can see the end of your row. And then this is what 2 rows looks like. So for the remainder of the pattern, you're going to repeat row 2. So chain 2 and turn. Remember that chain 2 does count as your first single crochet. In that very first stitch, go ahead and make 2 double crochets. You're going to skip 2 stitches, and in the stitch after that, make a single crochet and 2 double crochets. So you're going to repeat row 2 for a total of 122 rows, and I used up basically the entire skein of yarn. I just kept going until I had no yarn left to make another row. If you wanted to make your scarf a little bit shorter, you're just going to make less rows. And of course, if you wanted to make your scarf even longer, you're going to go ahead and need 1 extra skein. So just keep that in mind when making your scarf. And just keep repeating row 2 for a total of 122 rows. I will meet up with you at the very end and show you what the finished scarf looks like. So here's my finished scarf. Again, I used 122 rows and 1 full skein of yarn, and I really liked the color changes of this. As you can see, there's always that cream and that brown, and then it moves into that dark red, or that dark orange, and the lighter orange, and I just really liked how this came out. It's a nice thick and squishy yarn, and you can use any colorway in this puzzle line that you would like. And I really like the texture of this stitch, so it's extra nice and warm for those chilly fall nights. And once again, my scarf measured about 7 inches wide by 60 inches long. You can always change up the sizing of this scarf if you would like. So thank you so much for joining me today on learning how to make the pumpkin spice scarf. I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. Please like, comment, and subscribe to see all future videos by me. And as always, happy crocheting! Bye!